Welcome back everyone to another ESO build video. Today is the update or brand new adaptation even to the Easy Sorc for players that are struggling in content to put out DPS. If you can't do Maelstrom Arena, you can't do Dungeons and Trials because you feel like you have less damage than you need, which is false by the way, don't worry, the checks are very, very low, but still, you'd like to do the deeps, this is going to help you a lot. It's going to be extremely easy to apply, 10 times easier than the Easy Sorc itself. So, if you want to see more of this, stay tuned, it is coming right up. Just a brief moment to mention that this video is of course sponsored by Outplayed. This is a new app or recent app that is now being used by many people across the world for their gaming recordings. Now, not just to record and then edit and upload like you would normally do if you were a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer, or just in general using it as a hobby, but this is something that will capture your favorite moments automatically depending on the game. It will actually track what you're doing. So it will notice if you get headshots, kills, wins, losses, or deaths, and it will actually automatically capture those moments so you can save them in a folder for later. Upload it straight to YouTube, Twitter, Discord, including individual specific channels for your convenience. Get the app today with a link down below and start recording your clips. So some people struggle with double bars, some people struggle maintaining buffs and debuffs and all that kind of stuff. Some people struggle maintaining any damage while being inside mechanics because it's just far too complex. The average player is not hitting 90k DPS like the one shitlord on the internet tries to tell you. It is far lower than that. The average player will hit around 30k in content if they're lucky. So the information out there about what you should and should not hit is false. Do not be deterred or worried by that bullshit. The average is hitting somewhere between 20 and 30 because the average player doesn't sit there humping that thing all day long. They just get into content and hit stuff, or they just run around doing whatever they want. I'm going to fix that so you can hit an average of 60 to 70 without even trying. So all the content is already accessible to you, but it just got 10 times easier, and your damage application has been applied easier as well, and your damage will go up. Some people double, some people triple. And it is 10 times easier than anything you're using right now. I can guarantee it. So, we're going to go into all the usual places that we go into with a build video. Stats, figures, skills, passives, all that kind of stuff. But hopefully by the end of this, you will be able to comfortably and confidently join into any situation or content without worrying about that one fucking demon on your shoulder going, you don't have enough DPS. Because it's bullshit. So, first of all, we're going to go into the stats. Let's put our buffs on. A potion. That's it. Done. Now, we are sitting on 34.8k max magicka, 28k max health, 13k max stamina. Good amount of stam to dodge, roll, and break, and all that kind of stuff. And a decent amount of flat stats for survival and damage output. Magicka recovery is 930. That really doesn't matter. Our recovery is covered. 848 on stam recovery. That's quite helpful. And 740 on health recovery. Really good stats there. We are on 4,500, almost 4,600 spell damage, but don't worry, that will go up in your group situations. You'll get buffs and bonuses from that. And our resistances are ridiculous, in fact. Spell resistance is 24229, and physical resistance is 19873. So we're quite tanky as well. Crit chance is actually sitting on 60.4%, but in your group, you can actually put that up to 66. So we're in a really good spot there. 64 points to max magicka, and look at all the buffs. Oh my god, hey, what DPS do you do when you've got buffs and bonuses applied? We bring our own buffs. And the other buffs you get from groups stack. How handy is that? Food-wise, don't use anything other than this. I mean, there's 3 different variants to this, but they're all exactly the same. Max health, max magicka food, all day long. Tripots, health, magic, and stamina, which you'll get back instantly upon applying it, but for the full duration, you'll also get 30% recovery to all 3 stats. Don't let them run out. Maintain that food, maintain that potion, done. Now, straight into the skills. This is where it becomes really freaking easy because everything is done for you. So, first of all, you want Bound Aegis. This is in the Daedric Summoning skill line. Last ability to unlock starts off as Bound Armor, morph it to Bound Aegis. If you activate this and then hold block, for the next 5 seconds, you will be able to take less damage while blocking. So you're basically a tank. Anything really dangerous, hit this first, hold block, you're good. However, at the same time, once it's activated, you get minor protection for 20 seconds. That is not necessarily important for us because, as you can see here, we do have minor protection already 100% of the time. So while the skill is duff for that purpose, the block mitigation is really helpful. And at the same time, we have minor resolve on top of the major resolve we already have, which stacks. We've got really good resistances. That stays with you the whole time just for being on the bar. You've also got 8% max magicka. That stays with you for being on the bar. So if you're not blocking, never touch this skill. Just leave it there. 8% increase to max magicka and minor resolve increase in resistances. Done. Unstable Wall of Storms. This is essential to the build. You do need a lightning staff because you want to apply off balance in order to do lots and lots of damage. It is required for the build. But if you don't need to, because you already have off balance in the group, you can change this for lightning flood and you'll do a little bit more damage. But generally speaking, you want to maintain this. Very simple. Starts off as Wall of Elements, morph it to Unstable Wall of Elements, apply it, 10 seconds later it will explode, reapply it again. If you're using lightning, which we are, the element type is affected. So you'll do shock damage every 1 second, and if enemies inside of this wall are applied with a concussion status effect, which is a chance to come from lightning damage, you will knock them off balance for 7 seconds. If a target is off balance, your heavy attack will do 70% more damage, and you'll get double resources back for heavy attacking them at the same time. You'll get everything you need from one heavy while that is off balance. You must apply this. Also, your glyph on your weapon can be consistently fired from this doing damage because it is a area of effect weapon ability. Single target abilities don't affect it that way. They only fire off the initial hit. Damage over time area of effect weapon abilities can consistently fire your glyph off cooldown, so you don't have to do any work. Our glyph is a lightning glyph. Glyphs have a much higher status chance than AoE effects, so it's highly likely that you will knock things off balance by applying concussed inside this wall. It's essential for the build. Leave it on the ground. When it runs out, reapply it. Done. Hardened Ward. Nice and simple. If you are in trouble and you're taking too much damage, apply a damage shield. Conjured Ward, morph it to Hardened Ward. Massive damage shield based on your max magicka, but capped at your max health. So the more health you have, the bigger the shield will be, as long as you've got the magicka to supply the strength in the first place, which we do. With buffs and bonuses from your group, with Ebon and with minor toughness, you can actually end up with about 17k damage shield. Really simple stuff. Just activate it if you're in trouble, and you have 6 seconds worth of damage shield, unless of course it's removed, in which case you can place another. You never have to press that unless you're in trouble. So 2 skills here, Bound Aegis and Hardened Ward, you never have to press unless you're in trouble. That will protect you from damage. This will give you block mitigation. If you're not going to pay attention to this part, you don't ever need the block mitigation, and you just need a shield occasionally, you can actually weave this in within your heavy attacks sometimes. I'll show you that in a rotation later. Critical Surge. Storm Calling, very simple. Starts off as Surge, morph it to Critical Surge. This does give you major brutality and sorcery, but we don't need that. We've already got it. It's built into our build already. We have it 100% of the time. But what you do need is this bonus at the end here. Every time you crit, at least once a second, you will get 3630 health back. That can actually crit to above 6k, sometimes depending on buffs and bonuses, and you can heal every second as long as you're doing crit damage, which you will be. So this is your survival ability. Maintain this once every 33 seconds, and you're basically done. You are very hard to kill. But if you are slightly more advanced and you don't want to use this, you can swap it out for a little bit more damage. And once every 24 seconds, you can maintain this skill here from the Mages Guild, which has to be morphed a specific way. Entropy morph to Structured Entropy. This will actually heal you every 2 seconds. Yes, that can crit. Yes, it's a lesser heal, but it is consistent. It will do damage to the target over 24 seconds, and every 2 seconds you'll heal. And you can apply this to multiple targets. So if you do actually put this on instead, if you're in a big ad pull, applying it once will give you a heal every 2, as you can see. Applying it multiple times will put many dots on many targets. And as you can see, the heals will constantly keep coming in, and you are very, very hard to kill, especially with the damage shield. It's a little more advanced, but the choice is yours. That skill is one of 2 things. A very simple buff that you just have to maintain, or extra damage with multiple heals. Again, the choice is 100% up to you. Mage's Wrath, this is nice and simple. Storm Calling, there's your execute. When the enemy hits under 20% health, use this all the time. Maintain your wall, maintain your heavy attacks, and use this at the end of each heavy. That way, they'll take more damage as they go down. Yes, you can apply this early, so if you apply it before 20%, you got a 4-second timer where if it does dip below 20, it'll explode, but basically just use this at 20 and below. Spam the hell out of it. or apply it after every heavy. This has to be down all the time. This is your choice. You don't have to use that if you don't want to. You could just crit surge, like I said, but this is essential for execute. Failing that, if you're not very good at doing that kind of stuff, you could swap that for Inner Light for the extra magical bonus and just heavy attack all day. Shooting Star is stronger than anything else that we've got here. It does give you ultimate back. It does do lots of damage. It does do fire damage on the ground, plus the initial hit and stun. It's very, very powerful, especially in big ad pools, because every single enemy you hit, you'll get 12 ulti back, so you can borderline spam it. But if you don't have Mage's Guild 10, do not worry. You can simply drop this out, or swap this out even, for Elemental Rage, which is the Destruction Staff ultimate, and it will give you 9 seconds worth of lightning AoE in the room, and it is devastating. I know it says 7 seconds there, but lightning lasts 2 seconds longer. So if you don't have Mage's Guild 10, you can of course go with the Destro ulti, but if you do have Mage's Guild 10, then of course Shooting Star all day long. That is it for skills. That's it. Now we need to get into passives, and this again is very, very simple. Dark Magic, of course, we're not using any Dark Magic skills. You could put on Suppression Field if you wanted a CC, but that's up to you. But this reduces the health, magicka, and stamina costs of all non-core combat abilities. When you hit an enemy with a Dark Magic ability, if you were using one, which we're not, you would heal. So you don't have to have that passive if you don't want to, unless, of course, you're using the ulti. When you block an attack, your next ability will be cheaper. And when you cast a Dark Magic ability, you get Minor Prophecy. Again, we're not using any. If you were using the ultimate, you would benefit from that passive, but you're going to have to rely on someone else bringing it instead, because this build doesn't have anything on that skill line, strictly speaking. But, I mean, if you want it for later, just in case you do swap these out, that's entirely up to you. Daedric Summoning, nice and easy. You restore 300 magicka or stamina when one of your non-Daedric Summoning abilities ends. So, if you activated Bound Aegis, once it's finished, you'll get magic back. Reduces the cost of your ultimate abilities, that's all ultimates. Increases your health stam recovery by 20%. That stacks with potions. You have to have one of these abilities slotted. Easy, we've got 2, so that works. And increases your max health by 8% while having a Daedric Summoning ability slotted. Again, we've got one. Job done. We've got more health. Really simple stuff. And Lightning, Stormcalling even. Increased mag recovery. Increased physical and shock damage. We're doing loads of shock damage. Increase your damage done against enemies by 1% for every 10% current health they have. The higher the health, the more damage you do, and each 10% increment downwards, you lose 1%. So your peak is at the beginning of the fight. However, we're stacking Bloodthirsty in our jewelry, so our damage goes up again at execute rather than down. Increases your weapon and spell damage by 2% for each sorcerer ability slotted. Now, bear in mind, of course, this is not a sorcerer ability, neither is the Mage's Guild Shooting Star. Note, by the way, you could have the Atronach if you're in a group situation, so you can give people Major Berserk, but that's up to you. Each one of these, however, gives you 2%. Now, you could put in a light here and argue that the 5% increase max magicka and the 2% from the passives will actually give you more damage. False, it won't. It doesn't give you any more damage than just leaving this on the bar. That 2% spell damage did actually amount to a lot more from your heavies and all that good stuff, so this was better to not put that there. Plus, we don't need the prophecy either way because we already have it. So always take advantage of your minor passives. They are very important. They stack up and they can get very, very strong the more of them you have. But again, this is for optimization purposes. If you want to swap it for the dot, the entropy, that is fine. You'll lose the spell damage, but you'll gain the dot. And again, that will semi-balance out. Destruction Staff. Tri-focus. If you do a heavy attack, enemies close by will take 100% of the damage done. You can end up cracking way over 100k in a heavy attack. That will be echoed to all nearby enemies. Constantly channel those heavies, you will destroy rooms. Destruction Staff abilities ignore 10% of the enemy's physical spell resistance, so that obviously benefits our light attacks, heavy attacks, and Wall of Elements. Increases your chance to apply status effects while holding a Destruction Staff. Obviously, we're holding one. Perfect, we can apply Concussion more often for more off-balance. A Lightning Staff allows for area of effect damage to be increased by 10%, which we're doing a lot of. And of course, if you kill an enemy with a Destro Staff ability, you will get 3600 magicka back. There is a bonus, obviously, for a damage shield from heavy attacking from the Ice Staff, and that will give you magic back as well. But that is only for ice. We're not using ice, so ignore that second paragraph. Light armor. Now, you're going to want all light and all medium, because we do have 2 variations of the build where you can benefit from light armor or medium. Basically, get every single one of these. They will benefit you for reduction to cost, crit chance, and all that good stuff. And, of course, penetration. The more light armor pieces you have, the more penetration you have, the more resistance as you go through. So that is incredibly powerful for a full or almost full light setup. However, the medium armor, if you're taking advantage of those passives, you will get crit damage rather than crit chance. You'll get flat weapon and spell damage, and you'll also get reduction to cost for dodge roll and stamina skills and all that kind of stuff. We're not using stam skills, so that's not important, but the dodge roll stuff is. So the two variants will fluctuate your crit damage slightly, but we've already allowed for that with the sets. The set that we're wearing at the moment, which we'll come into in the gear, has high crit damage, and it's light, so you get crit damage and pen. One of the other sets we're using gives us flat damage, but it's all medium. So we take away the penetration, we add extra damage, and we still maintain the crit damage that the set gave us because it equates to roughly the same. So it's fluctuating effects that basically balance out depending on how you preference to play. Again, that will be in the gear section coming up. You will want heavy armor, by the way, because we are wearing one heavy piece, so you can take advantage of these extra survival bonuses and, of course, resource management where you get stuff back for being hit. Each individual armor style or armor type does have its negatives, but you can read through these in your own time. They're not going to make or break the build, but if you understand them, then great. Fighters Guild, not needed. Ignore that. Don't need any of it. Yes, of course, you can get ulti back from having Fighters Guild stuff on your bar. You could just put Dawnbreaker on if you wanted to, but we're not doing it. Is it nice? Yes. Could you replace that instead of Shooting Star if you don't have Mages Guild 10? Yes, but the Destro ulti in AoE situations is more powerful. You can take advantage of the weapon and spell damage increase on single target bosses if you want to, but if you're not using Dawnbreaker, you don't need any of these. If you do use Dawnbreaker, sure, get these two, but generally speaking, actually these three, but generally speaking, we are not. Don't overcomplicate it. You can ditch that skill line entirely. Mages Guild, if you get 10, get all of these. They will extend the duration of the skills. They will give you extra recovery and flat magicka bonuses for being on the bar. And of course, this is irrelevant on the build. You don't need this, so don't put skill points into it. If you used Mages Guild abilities on the previous version of the build, or the other version, the more advanced one if you like, Easy Sorc in general, the vanilla Easy Sorc, then you would need the Empower. However, we've got it already. It's with us 100% of the time. You don't need to force it. Undaunted, take both of these. We are using multiple different types of armor. In fact, 2 types at the moment, but you can use 3 if you wanted to by manipulating your shoulder piece. It gives you max resources. Make sure you get this. But this one, which I was hovering over by accident, make sure that you take every synergy you can see. It gives you resources back, gives you a heal. There's nothing to be lost from that. Take the synergies. Armor types, we're using 1 heavy and mostly all light, or 1 heavy and mostly all medium. You can, like I said, switch that around. You can use light on the body with a heavy chest, and then the shoulder can be medium, or you can use medium on the body with a heavy chest, and the shoulder can be light. That will make more sense when we get to the gear, but it's up to you. We're a high elf. You don't have to be, but we are. Using an active ability that is from your main resource will give you resources back for your lower resource once every 6 seconds. So basically just cast a damage shield and get stamina back. Also, while channeling, which is what heavy attack is, you will take less damage. Increase max magicka, increase max weapon and spell damage. Easy peasy. If you want to use any other race in the game, you'll get benefits towards their race passives, obviously, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to break the build. Use whatever you like. And of course, medicinal use. Activate your potion. It will last 45 seconds. Well, 47 technically, which will outplay the cooldown. Never let your potions run out. Always activate them. Always have them grade, so you're always taking advantage of that recovery bonus. Get medicinal use as soon as possible. You don't have to be a master crafter, but you do need to get to 50 in alchemy. Then you can just dump the points and leave them in there. You don't have to actively make potions. You just need that passive. That, for passives, is actually it. Now, we're going to go into the champion point side of things first. Then I'm going to go into the gear. So basically, all these yellowy color ones are passives. They can be used on any character, any build, doesn't matter. They are inevitable. They will happen. But the most important things are your slottables, how to optimize your build. So what you want to do is unlock this, put 10 points into here, and it will unlock this tree. You want to get Wrathful Strikes, and you want to get Fighting Finesse. This will increase your crit damage. This will increase all damage. So weapon and spell damage towards your damaging abilities. Then you want to come into here. 10 points into here will unlock this tree. Now fill these up as and when you can, because they are all important. However, Weapons Expert is what you're going to want, because this will increase your heavy attack damage by 20%. And your light attacks. Also, once this tree is unlocked, it will unlock this section here, and you want to put your points into Thaumaturge. So damage over time, which is full on what we're doing. Crit damage, which we're also doing. Heavy attack, and all damage. Those 4 combined were the most optimal for this setup. The rest of the passives and bonuses, especially your survival and all this kind of stuff, they can all be done in your own time. There's no rush. But get those 4 slottables in, even if they're halfway done, get them in and slotted so you can start making the most out of the build. This again, very simple. These 2 don't have any prerequisites. So max health, max armor, fill them as soon as you can. Then come into here. 15 points into here. 10 into here. Fill your health up. Then take advantage of this one, actually, Siphon and Spells, which should be here. And you can have Bloody Renewal at the same time. So you'll get Magicka and Stamina back for every single kill that you get. Your recovery is fine. So if you struggle with stamina, lots of CC situations, put both of these on. But if you don't struggle with stamina and you are fine, make sure you keep on Siphon and Spells, but take advantage of this, especially if you're going into arenas. Every time you get a kill, you get Major Expedition, which will make you faster. That's really handy for Vatashran and VMA, or Maelstrom. So if you're using this as a Maelstrom build, those 2 are important. The rest of them, get them in your own time. The green stuff really doesn't matter. Unlock any of this stuff and just fill it up as you go, but you are going to want this, which will make you use less charges on your weapon, so you use less soul gems. You can use treasure hunting content to give you higher quality loot. This will make you run faster between fights. This will make it so you can consume a potion, get the buff, but it still sits in your inventory, so you don't actually utilize the pot. You still use it, but it doesn't take one away from the stack. That was hard to explain. Basically, you get the buff, but you don't use a potion. And this will extend the food time. None of these are really, really essential in combat, but they're quite helpful quality of life bonuses regardless. And now the gear. So let's keep this really simple. This is the most basic version of the build. Very, very simple, easy to apply, easy to acquire. You don't need any vet content. So as you can see here, we are using the Sergeant's Lightning Staff with Precise and a Shot Glyph. The reason we've got the Shot Glyph and not the weapon and spell damage is so that we can constantly apply off balance. We just need the glyph to keep firing inside Wall of Elements, and we've got that heavy attack bonus. Really simple stuff. Health recovery, weapon and spell damage, and if you constantly heavy attack, you'll stack up heavy attack damage. Up to 4. As soon as you stop heavy attacking, you will lose the stack after 4 seconds. 5 seconds even. Well, that's never going to happen. So that's with us 100% of the time. Easy peasy. Just keep heavy attacking. We want that on the weapon, the chest for more resistances, and for 2 jewelry pieces, spell damage on both, bloodthirsty on both if you can manage it. If you can't, it's not the end of the world, but if you can, great. So 2 jewelry pieces, 1 chest, 1 weapon. The weapon counts as 2 pieces towards the set. Then a crafted set. Order's Wrath on everything else. Hat, belt, hands, legs, feet. This will give you crit, weapon and spell damage, crit again, another huge crit bonus, and increases your damage and critical healing done by 8%. Now, if you had medium armor, then you would have 10%, and you wouldn't need this 5-piece bonus. But since we're using light armor with this particular setup, that allows us to have the really good crit damage bonus, and at the same time that stacks with our champion points, which will put us close to cap if we've got buffs and bonuses from the dummy in our content. And it allows us to have loads and loads of penetration bonuses at the same time. So light, divines, magicka on everything. Again, Thief, Mundustone. You can use a light shoulder of Slimecraw if you want. It's the highest crit bonus from one piece in the game outside of Mythics. And at the same time, if you take this, you'll get extra penetration. If you change it to medium, which is fine, you'll then take advantage of the medium passives and you'll get 2% more crit damage. And 2% more spell damage as well. The choice is yours. You can keep it as this or you can swap it. But again, you don't have to go on vet. We don't have a Maelstrom weapon, so you don't need Maelstrom. We don't have to go on vet to get the Sergeant stuff because you can go to Wayrest on normal. This stuff is crafted, and Slimecraw Shoulders comes from the Undaunted boxes. You don't need to do veteran pledges to get keys. You can do normal. You get less keys, yes, but you can still get them. Normal pledges, crafted, normal dungeon. That's it. Now, obviously, the one thing that will set the build off is this. The Oaken Soul Ring is required for the setup. So yes, you'll need High Isle. But keep an eye on the channel. There's giveaways for that stuff. Anyway, this will give you Minor Berserk, Minor Courage, Major Brutality, Major Sorcery, Major Prophecy, Major Savagery, Minor Force, Minor Protection, Major Resolve, Minor Mendant, Minor Fortitude, Minor Intellect, Minor Endurance, Minor Heroism, Minor Slayer, and Minor Aegis, and Empower all day. Apply off balance. Your flat damage bonuses are there. Your flat resistance bonuses are there. And your Empower's there. If that's off balance, a 70% increase to your heavies. If you're empowered, that's 80% increase to your heavies on top. The stacking bonuses are all done for you, and then you've got this, which further increases your heavies. Now, the other setups are exactly the same as far as the skills and everything are concerned, but what you do have is options for sets. So if you wanted to go with more survival and more flat damage, that would be very close. Then, of course, you can go with Briarheart. This has a proc that will give you weapon and spell damage, but at the same time, it will heal you constantly throughout its proc, as long as you're doing damage. So that's insane. You can go with that, and then just swap the shoulder to light if you haven't done already. That's up to you, but you will lose penetration for the flat damage. However, you will have higher resistances. So Briarheart is a good option. Yes, it's medium, but it doesn't matter. You're a Magicka build, you've still got your Magicka stats, you'll just have higher resistances, more agility, and you will still not run out of resources. The other option is for group content, if you like, or you can use it on your own. You lack the penetration, so you need the buffs and bonuses from your group, but you can go with Kinraz. This will give you a crit bonus, a spell damage, a spell damage bonus, again, and if you light or heavy attack, you can stack up bonuses to give you Major Berserk 100% of the time. This is impossible to fall off unless you stop playing. If you constantly heavy attack, this will be with you the whole time, plus you give Minor Berserk to the group. Again, this can be acquired on normal in Black Drake Villa, so easy to acquire, and you don't need any weapons for it, so you don't even need to kill the last boss. So you've got three options. Order's Wrath, Briarheart, or Kinraz. One is a dungeon, one is overland and tradable, the other is crafted and tradable. Now we're going to go into the really, really, really complicated rotation. Whenever your ultimate is ready, fire it. If your crit surge is off, apply it. Apart from that, maintain Wall of Elements and just heavy attack. Never let go of it. So, ulti, wall, heavy. Now look at the timer on my ability there. When it gets down to 1, reapply it. As you can see at the moment, we're sitting on a nice comfy sort of 66 to 70k DPS depending on when the ulti's is down. Once you get to execute, that will average around 70 to 72. Once you're finished, obviously. Crits do contribute, obviously. That can make or break it on occasions, but you're still going to do a crap ton of damage. That's it. That's all you have to do. Don't forget, of course, your damage shield. If you are not familiar with how animation cancel works, while holding a heavy attack, people wait for it to pop, and then they apply their skill. That's incorrect. Hold the heavy attack. Press the skill during the heavy attack while not letting go, and it will queue it up. Keep an eye on that B button there. Keep an eye on the damage shield. You'll see me apply it while in a heavy attack, and I won't let go. Already done. Fires by itself. Already done again. Fires by itself. So, in content, you can literally hold the wall, hold heavy attack, and press shield so it will apply at the end of every heavy attack. You won't ever run out of resources, and you will not take damage. Reapply the wall whenever it's ready. Use damage shields all day long if you want. There's no negative to it. And that's all you have to do. Ulti when you can. Wall down all day. Heavy attack, never let go of it. Maintain crit surge if you want. If you do use structured entropy, it's a different way to heal than crit surge, but you will get slightly more damage on the dummy. The dummy will average somewhere around 66 to 67k as it is right now. Sometimes you can get lucky and get 70. With structured entropy, you're going to average around 70, but sometimes you can get 72. But the application is exactly the same. You just maintain the dot that is about to run out and the buff that's about to run out. Keep an eye on the timers. And if you don't know where the timers are, don't worry, I'm going to share it. So, combat. Go down to ability bar timers. Turn it on. That's it. So, ulti, wall down, heavy attack, don't let go. If you want to weave in a damage shield, just press it during the heavy and it will fire by itself. And the same applies to Wall of Elements. As it's about to run out, don't let go of heavy attack and just hit it. You can see now my burst is around 80 or so, which is fucking nuts for doing nothing but heavy attacking all day long and maintaining one friggin' dot. So don't listen to the shitlords on the internet about how you can't do X, Y, and Z content with X, Y, and Z build. This will do it all. And Maelstrom is 10 times easier. Sure, you got to know the mechanics, obviously, but it's 10 times easier than it ever was because all you need to do is keep down this wall and heavy attack stuff inside of it. That's it. Now it's time for fashion. So we are using... Where the hell has it gone? Wayward Guardian helmet. A Nihilarch's Chosen chest is a light one, but it's not the robe, it's the jerkin. Fanglair shoulders in light. Silver Rose gloves in also light. I didn't think about that. Fargrave Guardian belt in light. Zivkin guards, which is medium. And of course, Ancient Daedric shoes, also in light. And the staff, because it looks like a mega Templar spear actually, is Night Hollow staff. Again, this is very, very simple. By the way, the colors are pretty much black. Wall of Elements down. Never let go of heavy attack. As soon as the timer's up for the wall, press the button again while still maintaining hold of that heavy attack. You don't have to let go of it. I'll demonstrate it once more for those at the back. Heavy attack and don't let go. Reapply the wall. Still, don't let go. It will fire by itself. You don't have to time it. You just press it during the heavy. Look at the button. It's pressed already. There it goes. Look at it. It's pressed already. Easy peasy. And as you can see here, I mean, it's not hard to devastate a group of ads. These are not debuffed, obviously, and you can still sit there all day maintaining your buffs and bonuses across the board without ever losing that proc, without ever lacking any damage. What more do you want? So, there's plenty of heavy attack builds out there. Nothing wrong with them. But this is made purposely to be incredibly straightforward, extremely easy for any player, especially the average or lesser experienced player, which, by the way, is the vast majority. There's lots of misinformation out there about how you must do X, Y, and Z as an average. Those people saying that don't even know what the average player perspective looks like. They're just privileged in their own groups and forget what other people struggle with. So hopefully, this helps those that are struggling. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hugely appreciate the support. If you're not subscribing already, please, of course, do hit that button. It is free. Don't forget the notification bell so you know when new videos go up. Also, if you want to help support outside the channel, there are some links in the info section for Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, the website xynodegaming.com, Instagram, or you can just Google Xynode. You'll find stuff. Don't forget I live stream every day from 10 PM UK time on Twitch, except Wednesdays. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.